wala, hindi siya considered as binding. Kaya siya tinawag na cognition, naging na nagkaroon ng cognition yung offeror, nagkaroon ng awareness, knowledge yung offeror dun sa acceptance ng offer niya. Yung manifestation, ni-manifest lang nung nag-offeree yung acceptance niya. Hindi pa na-receive ni offeror. So, yun yung manifestation. Pero in that case, perfected na. So, sa commercial law as a rule, sa atin, yung civil code, cognition theory, itong nasa commercial law natin, cognition din, except yung nasa code of commerce pa. So, basically, corporation, securities, negotiable instruments, lahat yan, ano siya? Cognition. Yun lang mga hindi cognition, yung nasa code of commerce. Ano ba yun? I-check nyo nga kung yun dun sa natin, yung mga pasok. Letters of credit, ano yan? Pasok sa code of commerce. So, manifestation theory. Kasi nga tinanong natin sa bar yung 2014 about sa insurance, perfected ka ba? Dahil in-accept or hindi ka. So, ang issue lang is, ano susunod? Cognition or manifestation? So, manifestation sa
Code of commerce.
Code of commerce, manifestation. Noong araw kasi, yung code of commerce, parang okay, yung mga merchant, alam na nila, parang basta may agreement, nag-accept, okay na considered na. Sa atin na lang ngayon yung mahirap kausap, parang kailangan alam mo na pa. Parang kailangan na communicate. Dati kasi parang okay na. Anyway, hindi naman ganun complex yung transactions. Now, let's go to corporation code. Section 1 of the Corporation Code tells us about Section 1. Tayo dalawang is code sa Corporation Code of the Philippines. So in commerce, class in commerce, you may have encountered already a lot different kinds of business organizations. We have single proprietorship, partnership, cooperatives, joint ventures, corporation. Yan, yung mga usuals na encounter natin. For purposes of this class, we'll only be discussing about the corporation. Because corporation is included din sa commercial law. Partnership is included sa civil law. So, hindi siya covered ng commercial law. So, pero before we proceed, ano ba yung pinagkaiba ng corporation sa... Siya ako na lang muna mag-discuss corporation. Tatanong na lang pagka sa kanila lang ba? Ano ba pinagkaiba ng corporation sa partnership? Of course, partners are liable to the extent of their personal trust. Pero sa corporation, the stockholders or the persons composing this corporation are only liable to the extent of their
capital contribution,
shares nila. Mas complex, of course, yung partnership, yung corporation, and less complex yung partnership. Mas kailangan ng malaking investment sa partnership. Investment-wise, partnership requires lesser capital than that of the corporation. Pero ano ba yung benefits ng isang corporation na wala sa isang partnership? In a partnership, when one of the partners dies, ano yan? Partnership is dissolved. Kailangan magkaroon ng liquidation. But in corporation, hindi. The shares of the stockholder will be transferred to the heirs. Kung membership yan, as a rule sa stock corporation, the membership is personal. So pag namatay, wala na. So, hindi na siya member. Mawawasan na ng member yung corporation. Pero kung mayroong provision na pwede transfer sa heir din. Pero definitely, the corporation will not be dissolved. So, let's now proceed with is there a constitutional provision on the creation of a corporation? Meron ba yun? Yes, there is one, which has been asked in 2007 bar and the 2017 bar. So, baka ulitin. That's provided under Article 12, Section 16 of the Constitution. In Article 12, Section 16 provides that the creation of a formation, organization of a general corporation shall be provided. Apa. Ni Sir George kasi ako sasabay pa uli. Pag iniwan niyo, yung special, uwi na rin tayo. Kasi may iwan ako dito. Mamakaw. Ano totoo siya? Sa partnership? So, ayun. Under section, Article 12, Section 16 of the Constitution, the creation, formation, organization of general corporation shall be provided, under a general law, which in this case, it is the Corporation Code of the Philippines. Special government-owned and controlled corporations shall be governed by the special charters, provided the GOCCs must meet the test of common good and viability. So, ang basis ng pag-GOCC, common good dapat, for the common good and test of viability. Ano ba viability? Able to engage yung day-to-day na transactions or business niya. Kundi, dapat isara. Pero, anong note na ano importante dito? You cannot, Congress cannot create a private corporation. Kasi the Constitution specifically provides that Congress must only provide the general law on the creation, organization, formation of corporation. So Congress cannot create, halimbawa, hindi siya pwede mag-create ng ABC pa ng private corporation. Kasi bawal yun under the Constitution. It will be unconstitutional. Anong pwedeng gawin ng anong pwedeng gawin ng legislature? Either gumawa siya ng GOCC, government-owned or controlled corporation, or i-repeal niya yung yung corporation code, pero hindi pa rin siya pwede mag-create under that. Kasi bawal nga. Pwede na i-provide is yung law. So, please take note of that. Kasi laging, for some reason, di naaral ng mga tao, pero yun yung fundamental, yun yung constitutional provision relating directly sa creation sa corporation code, sa creation ng corporation. So, that's section 1. This action, this title shall be known as. Ano section 2?
Definition.
A corporation is an artificial being. Kabisado nyo, dapat. Kasi nga, created by
Operation of law having the rights of succession, the powers, attributes, expressly authorized by law.
Sa naman kabisado, a corporation is an artificial being created by operation of law having the rights of succession,
The powers,
attributes, and
attributes,
properties, expressly authorized by law. So, isa-isahin natin ngayon yung, ito lang medyo, kaya lang ito kasing preliminary about corporation, medyo importante, kaya medyo pabagala ko naman. Pero, mas mabilis pa rin para mabot sa ito wala kasi iba na. Corporation is an artificial being. Artificial being as opposed to a natural being that is capable of an ordinary death, namamatay. Dito, artificial being is created by law. So, if the law extinguishes the life of the corporation, wala tayo magagawa. Kahit ayaw pa niya mamatay. Pag sinabi ng law, mamamatay ka na. Kasi yung creation mo is also based on the law. So, the death, your death is also based on the law. Yung, sabihin, lahat ng powers, functions, etc. provided lang ng governing law na yun. Artificial being. As an artificial being, meron entitled, ano yung mga power, ano yung mga karapatan mo, ano yung rights and obligations mo, ano yung powers mo as an artificial being. Under Article 46 of the New Civil Code, na-enumerate yung New Civil Code ng mga powers, such as power to enter into contracts, power to bring an action, to sue, defend its name. So meron siyang mga powers, not only under the corporation code, but elsewhere. Nabawa nga, pwede siyang mag-enter into a contract. So, which is also one of the powers of the corporation under sa corporation code. So, merong powers yung corporation. Ngayon, ang question is, does a corporation have constitutional rights? May constitutional rights bang sa corporation? Yes. Under Bill of Rights, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That alone,
Does not
yung
distinguish.
person dito, it contemplates not only a juridical or natural person, but also a juridical person. Depende na, pare, ito, Tarlac States, pwede pa siya, GOCC, at wala to, special charge. Ano ba, corporation XYZ, hindi siya pwedeng kuhanin lang yung mga properties niya. Protected pa rin siya ng due process. Pero pwede pang makulong ang corporation. Pag hindi siya nagbayad ng poll tax, ay ng taxes, hindi. Kasi hindi mo, technically, di mo pwedeng kulong yung sa corporation. So, of course, so, based on that, may mga constitutional rights yung corporation ba entitled to be heard? Entitled ba siya to be informed of accusations against him or it? Hindi, kasi hindi naman siya pwedeng sampahan ng kaso. Under criminal law, you would learn that yung corporations or juridical beings, hindi naman sila subject to criminal law. Except kung mayroong instances, exceptional, ang penalty kasi fine. Pero yung parang kukulong mo, walang ganun, di ba? So please take note lang that under the Constitution, there are rights which are according to a corporation, and there are rights na wala. So paano nyo malalaman kung meron? So, siguro naman yung context ng right, freedom of religion, meron ba? Wala naman siguro. Yung religious corporation, definitely, yung nature niya kasi, yung purpose niya, to begin with, is religious. So, meron talaga yun. So, hindi mo pwedeng curtail. Pero yung ordinary corporation na hindi naman purpose ay religion, wala naman. Wala talaga sila religious freedom. Right to believe, hindi naman naniniwala yung corporation. So, how about searches without warrants? Hindi pwede. Protected sila doon. Diba? So, yung depende papasok na lang, tapos pag-i-inspect. Yung kahit na corporation, kasi kapag ka natural person, di ba, hindi pwede pumasok sa bahay mo. Yung yung tao mag-search, yung police officer without search warrant. Ganun din pagka ikaw ay sa kapag ikaw ay sa juridical person. Now, may issue tayo. Can a juridical person demand or recover moral damages?
No.
In the case of first default
Pwede.
procedure.
Merong case.
General rules.
As a rule class, ano ba yung moral damages sa torts? If you can recall yung torts. Moral damages are awarded for instances of sleepless nights,
Anxiety,
Besmirchment of reputation.
besmirchment of reputation,
yan, humiliation, anxiety. Wala namang sleepless nights ang corporation class. Wala. Pero ano yung pwedeng ano yung peding instance na award sila ng
besmirched reputation.
besmirched reputation. In that case, pwede. Pero kailangan i-prove yun sa court na hindi na-tarnish nga yung reputation. Of course, ganun naman talaga sa moral damages. Kailangan mo i-prove yung entitlement mo to moral damages. So we submit kasi sa case na pwede. Although hindi naman direct sinabi ng court na pwede, para siyang obiter lang. Pero titingnan natin, of all humiliation, anxiety, hindi na experience ng corporation, but besmirched reputation, which is essentially yung goodwill ng corporation, can tarnish. So, pwede siguro makarecover to that extent. Now, ano ba? Artificial being created by operation of law, we mentioned, it's the law which creates the corporation, in this case, the corporation code. Having the rights of succession. Ano po yung rights of succession? Ano yung pag namatay yung corporation, pwede siyang magpapana? Hindi po. When we say rights of succession, the corporation has its own life independent of the life of the persons composing it. So, pwede siya mabuhay for like forever. I think forever. Dun sa, pero yung mga
50
persons
years.
composing, hindi. So, kahit mamatay na sila, yung life of success, yung buhay ng corporation, as long as it is extended for a period that exceeding 50 years in any single instance, okay lang. Pero pagka namatay yung, kahit mamatay lahat ng stockholders, may corporation pa rin. Kasi mapapasa nga yung sa heirs yung ownership of stocks. So okay lang. Having the rights of succession, powers, attributes, and properties expressly authorized by law or incident in existence. Powers, attributes, properties. Yung powers, nasa corporation code, naka-enumerate. Later on, we will discuss that. Attributes, properties, and so corporation can own a property. When we say that, so ito na, additional concept, when we say that the corporation is separate from the entity composing it, we're actually referring to the doctrine of corporate entity. Speak of doctrine of corporate entity, the corporation is separate being from its being separate from its corporators, stockholders or members, separate sila. Then we also have this doctrine of, actually mamaya pa naman ito, yung piercing the veil, pero mamaya. Ito muna isa, doctrine of limited capacity. The doctrine of limited capacity, ito yung pinagkaiba niya sa partnership. In a partnership, meron silang doctrine of general capacity in the sense na partnerships, persons paid for a partnership provide and engage in any activity as long as it is not contrary to law, moral, public order, public policy. So kahit ano, pwede yung persons, yung pwede mag-form ng partnership kahit na for any purpose. But in a corporation, it is limited. Ano pong limited? Limited lang kung ano yung state nyo na purpose sa Articles of Incorporation. Later on, we'll discuss ano ba yung laman ng Articles of Incorporation. Yung purpose dapat specified. Dahil specified na yung primary purpose, pwede ka maglagay ng secondary purpose. Pero pag nakalagay yung primary purpose mo, kung ano lang nilagay mong purpose, that's the only purpose or activity you can engage in. Unlike a partnership, pwede kayo mag-form ng partnership na kahit ano yung engage nyo. Walang kinala, walang limitation. Dito, kung ano yung nakalagay sa articles mo. So that's why it's called limited capacity. Doctrine of limited capacity. Limited lang yung kaya engage ng corporation. Kung ano lang yung purpose or reason for its incorporation. So, now let's go to the doctrine of piercing the veil. Doctrine of piercing the veil of corporate fiction. Or doctrine of an alter ego doctrine, ano ba yung mga tawag yan? Is regarding the veil of paano na yun? Basta doctrine of piercing the veil of corporate entity. So, as a rule class, please take note of the cases of Sarona, BNB versus Hydro Resources. Sabi ko na naman. Ay, pa pala. Sarona, BNB, Labay, tsaka Kupal. They all deal with the doctrine of piercing the veil of corporate entity. The doctrine of piercing the veil of corporate entity, nasa corporation code ko ba ito? Wala. Cases na, nasa ruling ng court. In doctrine of piercing the veil of corporate entity, Supreme Court pierces the separate entity of either one corporation with that of another, or the corporation or its stockholder, or corporation and its officers. Pinipierce yung corporate entity. When that corporate entity is being used to defeat public convenience, perpetrate fraud, defend crimes, commit crimes, or for any other purpose contrary to law. Pag ginawaan mo yun, pag ginamit mo yung corporate entity as a means to perpetrate injustice, then it will be considered, the courts can pierce the separate entity of the corporation. Kung dalawang corporation ginamit mo, pipierce yan ng court, or kung officer yung involved, pipierce yun ng court. So in the case of Sarona versus NLRC, please take note, it is the court which pierces. Hindi pwede sabihin mo na, ay hindi, i-pierce ko yan. Kasi hindi ko yung magsasabi na isang entity lang talaga sila. Ang magsasabi nun will be the court. So ano yung example na, ano yung case natin? Let's take, sa Rona. Ito sa Rona case, si A security guard, sa Rona security guard, parang engage siya ng Scepter security agency. Si Sarona engage siya ng A security agency. Ngayon, parang matagal na si Sarona doon sa A, sabi ni A, ay ililipat ka na, bibigyan kita ng bagong assignment, security guard, i-assign ka namin dito sa lugar na to. Pero kailangan mo na lumipat sa B security agency. Ngayon, sabi ni A, sabi ni security guard, kasi wala naman siyang alam, okay, sige, lilipat ako. So anong ginawa? Pinag-file ng resignation letter kay A at pina-employ kay B. So, pumayag. Bakit pumayag si security guard? Kasi yung managing director ng both corporations, security agencies, isa lang. Mga officers, isa lang. Yung location, katabi lang. Or yung ding lugar na yun, kung saan siya nagre-report. So, isa lang. Nung naka-IP na siya, so yung contract niya is with B Corporation, the B Security Agency. There was initially a time na ginagamit pa rin yung uniform at yung mga gamit yung kay A Corporation. Subsequently, nag-issue na si B. And then after a few months, dinismiss ni B si security agent, si Sarona. Nag-file siya ngayon ng case against security agency A and agency B. Sabi ni agency A, teka, ba't ako kasali dyan? Wala akong liability. Kasi ang liability ko would be, wala na saan, resign na yung tao. Sabi naman ni B, okay, babayaran ni B yung, kasi back pay, parang illegal dismissal, siyempre, kakontes mo na yung illegal dismissal. Pero pagka hindi ko ayaw, babayaran lang yun. Maliit lang, kasi wala pong 1 year, so magkano lang yung back pay. Pero doon sa security agency A, ang tagal na ni Sarona doon. So, dami niya na years na siya doon, decades na siya. So, pag hindi pineers ng court, kawawa si A kasi hindi niya makukuha yung yung benefits, yung separation pay, lahat na. Di ba kukumpitin yung based sa length of service niya. So, sabi ng court dito, clearly, liable, yung si A, yung corporate fiction ni A, tsaka ni B, isa lang. Ginamit to perpetrate fraud kay Sarona. So, ano yung mga indicators? Yung pinag-resign, tapos, para as a condition for employment doon sa sumunod, ginagamit pa rin yung uniform ng A kahit naka-employ na sa B, yung nagmamanage parehas, isa. So, these are indicators na indeed ginamit yung corporate fiction to perpetrate fraud sa person ni Sarona. In subsequent cases, nag-enumerate yung court ng requisites. So, for the piercing of the veil. Control, number 1 is control, not only in management, but not only in as a director, kundi sa lahat ng aspects ng two corporations. Control, control in finances, management, policies, etc. Parehas may control. Set control has been used to cause an injustice or to perpetrate fraud. That's the second element. And the third element is that the control and the perpetration of injustice cause damage to the individual. So, dahil doon, kung i-apply din natin yun sa case sa Sarona, ganun din. Just look at the factual basis, factual incidents na nangyari. Pero class, please take note sa case of KNB versus Hydro Resources. The mere fact na merong interlocking directors or majority ng director or kahit director dito corporation A ay director dito corporation B, it doesn't mean na i-pierce ka agad yung bail. Kasi titignan natin, kung ginamit ba ni A ng mga directors yung corporation na to perpetrate fraud was just. Pag hindi naman. So, titignan nyo pa rin. Hindi basta may interlocking directors or hindi may same sila, Kaya kanina sabi ko, indicator lang yun, pero hindi siya conclusive. Pero sa case ro, ang dami. Pinag-resign para ma-employ. Yung pa lang, ano na agad, parang red flag na. So, and please take note, sa case naman ni Kukan, pinipierce ni... So, halimbawa sa case ng Sarona. Si Sarona, halimbawa, sinampahan lang niya ng kaso si B, agency B, yung muling agency niya, without it pleading A, yung original. Can the court pierce the veil? Hindi. The court cannot pierce the veil if the two entities you sought to be pierced as one are not impleaded. So, kailangan kasuhan mo parehas para ma-implead. Kasi you have to give due process dun sa corporation na isa na hindi na kayo na gusto mong i-pierce yung veil. Kasi kung wala siyang notice or hindi siya makapag-defend, hindi siya bound on decision, hindi siya makapagbigay ng defense niya if any meron. So, kailangan i-implead nyo parehas. Then please take note finally in piercing the veil, hindi dahil pinierce ng veil yung corporate entities ng dalawang corporation, forever na silang naka-pierce. Hindi. Yung piercing the veil is only for the purpose of a particular claim. So, halimbawa kay Sarona, sa case lang sa Sarona, kaya kinonsider ng court na yung two corporations are one and the same. Doon lang sa case si Sarona. If later on, may nag-file ng other security guards, naghahabol, hindi, siya nga nakakonect din tayo, nag-file din tayo. Hindi ganon. Kasi titignan pa rin ng court, baka mamaya, hinire lang talaga sila, no? Nag-resign talaga sila on their own sa agency A, tapos nag-apply sila sa agency B. Iba yun, kapag pinilit kang mag-resign as a condition for employment sa isa pa. So, na-peer sila only with respect sa claim ng Sarona. Pero sa other claims, hindi yun. Unless similarly situated, okay lang. Pero kung hindi yun mag-a-apply. So, dun lang sa particular claim. So, sa piercing the veil, dun lang sa particular claims lagi. Or particular instance kung bakit yung reason na pag-pierce ng court. So, as a rule, babalik ka dun sa rule ng corporate entity. May separate entity siya with respect, may separate juridical entity siya sa other corporations, sa stockholders, members in general. And then, example lang kasi natin is corporation pierced within corporation. Hindi lang, pwede rin ang corporation, tapos yung officer. Yung officer mismo, ginagamit niya yung corporation to perpetrate fraud, i-pierce yung kumbaga, yung liability ng corporation, maging liability rin ng tao. Or hindi lang tao, pwede rin partnership. Basta ginagamit yung separate juridical entity to perpetrate fraud, pwede rin. Alright, Corporation A, security agency. Yung pinag-resign siya para sa isang partnership na agency lang din. So, ano pa rin, pwede i-pierce pa rin yung dalawa. So, pero ang concept lang natin kasi, corporation code tayo, naglilipat lang tayo sa corporation. Pero pwede rin yun i-pierce kahit hindi corporation. Yung appears. Alright, let's go now to that's section 2, section 3. Ano section 3? Classes of corporations. Corporations under section 3 can either be stock or non-stock corporation. A stock corporation is a corporation which has capital. Ano siya?
Shares.
Ha? It has capital stock divided into shares and are authorized to distribute
The holders of such shares.
the holders of such share ano?
Dividends.
Allotments or surplus profits. Dividends or allotments of the surplus profits the holder with respect sa extent ng holdings no particular shareholder. All other corporations are considered as non-stock. So, pag ganon, ang non-stock corporation pala under section 3, hindi lang walang stock. Pwede silang may stock pero hindi sila authorized to distribute yung dividends, hindi rin sila considered as stock corporation. Non-stock pa rin sila. Meron silang capital na hindi divided into share, non-stock. Meron silang capital na divided into share pero hindi siya authorized to distribute, non-stock pa rin. kung yun nasusundin natin sa Article 3, Section 3. Pero kasi sa Section 87, may definition na separate yung non-stop. Under Section 87, ano sabi niya? Hindi lang pwedeng mag-distribute ng profits
Not created for
sa mga
profit.
members. So, pero nonetheless, pwede natin gamitin pa rin. Basta hindi definition ng stock corporation, kailangan satisfied. Capital stock divided into shares, authorized to distribute the owners of such share, dividends or allotments of the surplus profits on the basis of the shares held. Stock corporation. All other corporations are not stock corporation. Ano ba? Ano section 4? Ano section 4?
Corporation created by special laws.
Ayun. Corporations created by special laws or charter are governed primarily by the charters or law creating them. And as making applicable yung corporation law. Primarily law or charter creating them, and then the provisions of the corporation law. Then we have section corporation. Ay, ang mga basic naman yung class, di ba? Sino na po compose sa isang corporation? Corporators. Corporators can either be members or stockholders. Kapag if you're a stock corporation, you are called stockholders. Kapag ikaw ay non-stock, you're called a member. So, ganun naman siya. Meron pa ba? Punta tayo ngayon sa mahirap. Hindi nung mahirap. Madali lang yan. Yung section 6 yung mahaba. By the way, incorporators, they are the persons who originally compose the corporation and are signatories of the articles of incorporation. So, it's actually one of, sa articles of incorporation, you can amend, di ba? Pero there are certain details na hindi mo pwedeng i-amend sa articles of incorporation. One of which are yung names ng corporation. Kasi forever na sila na nakalagay doon. So, classification of shares. Ano yun? Ano yun? Ahaba niyan to. So, classification of shares. Ano yung first part? Ano sabi? Sige, papasa ng first part.
The shares of stock corporations may be divided into classes or
Okay.
series of shares. Okay.
So, class, hindi nyo ba memorize yan before? Yung corporation first? Or lahat ng laws for that matter?
Hindi pa.
Sige, pag may tayo.
Sir, section 1 na, section 4.
Baka sila lang yung klase.
Kasi yung klase tayo.
Alright, so shares of stock. So, class, para madali lang intindihan pa, simplify ko lang pero basahin nyo. Shares of stock. So, these shares of stock, these are yung pag stock corporation ka, meron ka shares of stock. Yung capital mo is divided into shares. Yung shares na to, natawag natin na shares of stocks. These stocks, hindi siya equal. The articles of incorporation can provide for classification of shares. And this classification of shares may be given certain privileges which are not given with other kinds of class or series of shares. So for shares of stocks, shares A, pwedeng may ganitong benefit. Shares B, pwedeng may ganitong benefit. Pwedeng wala silang benefit. Pwedeng may members lang sila, pero wala silang voting rights, hindi sila pwedeng ma-elect, etc. So, itong classes of shares can either be given privileges, pwedeng wala. Then we have certain kinds of shares na alam na natin. Ang tawag natin sa una ay we have the preferred shares and the
Ordinary. Common.
preferred and the common shares. Kapag common, wala lang preference. Pero pag preferred share ka, anong meron? May preference ka sa distribution of assets, distribution of dividends. So, meron kang preference. So, kapag ang nakuha mo ay, pag bumili ka, preferred share ang pinili mo, pag na-distribute ng dividends at nakalagay sa Articles of Incorporation, priority ka, pare, 10% ng lahat, di-distribute mo na sa preferred shares. Kung yung 10%, mauna ka makaka-receive. Yung matitira, dun sa mga unpreferred or sa common shares. So, kasi ganun yung preference na nilagay. If the corporation is dissolved, at may nakalagay sa preferred share mo na, ikaw ang priority sa distribution of assets. Yung extent, yung share mo dun sa assets ng dissolved na corporation, ikaw ang unang makakakuha. So, basically, ganun lang yung preferred share. How about, under sa section 6, pwede mo bang i-deprive ng voting rights ang isang preferred share? Yes, pwede. All other shares cannot be deprived with voting rights except preferred share and ano pa? Ano yung isa pang share na hindi mo pwedeng deprive?
Treasury.
Redeemable shares. So, pwede kang mag-deprive ng voting rights sa preferred share at sa redeemable shares. But all others, hindi ka pwedeng mag-deprive. So, ano po ngayon yung, so preferred, madali naman, may preference ka lang. Ano naman po yung redeemable shares? Wala sa section 6, nasa ang section niya? 8 or 9? 8. Sa section 9, sorry. Sa section 8, ano yung redeemable shares? They are issued by the corporation, but with the premise or the condition that after a certain period of time, the corporation will buy back its shares. Bakit gustong bilhin ng corporation yung shares niya? Papalit. Kasi mababawasan ng ano? Mawawalan kayo, makakabawas sa stockholders, makakabawas dun sa i-distribute mo na profits. Pwedeng gano'n. Or pwede rin na, nagmamayaman sa corporation, bibili niya na lahat. Makukuha niya ulit yung shares. So, kasi pag maraming shares, marami kayo maghahati-hati, di ba? Pero pag binibili, kung dati, may shares ka 100, yung kasama mo may 100, 10 kayo, 10 kayo na meron kayong shares, lahat, equally, tigo 100 shares, equally. Tapos yung 5 doon, redeemable shares, yung corporation, binili niya na na-redeem niya na pabalik yung limang shareholders na merong redeemable shares. Ilan na lang kayong shareholder? 5, na may tigo 500. Pag nag-declare ng dividends to, nag-declare ng 1 million, magkano ma-receive nyo? Equally. Ito 200. Kung 10 ko pa kayo, ilan pa maghahati-hati? 10, 100. So, yun yung one instance kung bakit gustong bilhin or kunin ulit ni corporation yung shares niya. Kasi malamang, yung 5 na ito, maaaring member sila ng board of director. Maaari rin naman, ang purpose talaga ni corporation for issuing a redeemable share is for it to have an initial investment. Kasi the more shares that you issue, the more na meron ka makukuha investment. So si corporation gusto niya for first may makuha siya investment. So puro issue siya ng maraming redeemable shares. Pero yung okay lang naman yun kasi pag yung other part of stockholder, aware naman ako, kung aware ako na redeemable shares yan, alam ko na investment ko for that corporation up to a certain extent lang kasi may option yung corporation na bilhin o balik. So, pag binili ko yun, alam ko rin naman at mayon na kung mag-declare man yan ng dividends up to this particular period. Paano? Favorable din saan? Kasi what if bumili ako ng redeemable shares halagang 100 pesos, pero lumago yung corporation, gusto ko nang i-redeem, nire-redeem niya na, pero yung value na nung share ko ay hindi na 100 pesos, 1,000 pesos na. So, pabor din on the part of the shareholder, kasi makukuha niya na investment niya agad. So, anyway, yun lang mga reason bakit ba't kung may redeemable pa, pwede hindi na lang redeem. So, kailangan may pwede siya, parang class lang siya ng share. But please take note, may nakalagay dyan, regardless of the existence of unrestricted retained earnings. Ano po yung sabihin doon? If the corporation has no restricted retained earnings, pwede ba siya mag-redeem ng shares? Hindi siya pwede mag-redeem. Otherwise, it will violate the trust fund doctrine. Ano po yung trust fund doctrine? Assets of the corporation are held in trust for the benefit of the debtors, creditors of the corporation. And no disposition can be made kung wala enough assets yung corporation. Kasi kapag pag sinabi natin unrestricted retained earnings, may earnings yung corporation na nasa kanya, kaya may earnings, retained kasi nasa kanya pa, unrestricted kasi hindi pa na-appropriate for some other purpose. Kaya unrestricted. Pag restricted na yan, pwedeng inappropriate na ng board for investment, for expansion, etc. Hindi na yun. Pagka na-appropriate na or wala kang unrestricted retained earnings, ano mangyayari? Pag nagbayad ka, nag-redeem ka ng shares nang wala kang unrestricted retained earnings, you'd be paying out of your capital. Sa capital na ng corporation. Kasi kukuha ka na ng pera, wala kang pera, wala kang unrestricted retained earnings yung corporation. Sa kukuha, doon sa capital na ng corporation, doon sa pera na ng corporation. Hindi nga pwede yun kasi it will violate the trust fund doctrine. Yung assets ng corporation are held in trust. So, yung assets ng corporation, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin pambayad. Ano lang pwede mong gamitin pambayad? Yung earnings, unrestricted retained earnings ng corporation. Kaya yun lang pwede mong pang-release. So, going back to shares, sorry, tinatanong ko kasi nga related yung concept. Then, going back to shares, so we have, again, ang pwede mo lang i-deprive ng voting rights. We cannot deprive, pwede mo lang i-deprive ng voting rights ay preferred shares na redeemable shares. All other shares, hindi mo na pwedeng i-deprive ng right. Provided, sabi ng corporation code, there must be at least one kind of share, one series, one nature, one classification of shares na merong complete voting rights. Ano pa pagkatapos nun? About par value and no par value shares. Ano po yung par value and no par value shares? Par value shares are shares which has a price fixed in the articles of incorporation in which upon issuance will be considered as yung value nun yung babayaran mo. May par value, may value, yung share. Ano po yung without par value share, without par value share? Wala siyang value na nakalagay sa corporation, sa articles of incorporation. Ano po meron siya? Meron siya, wala siyang par value, pero yung shares na no par value share, meron siyang ang tawag natin doon ay issued value, which must not be less than 5 pesos. Ano po pinagkaiba? Tingnan nyo lang last. Yung doon sa no par value shares, pag in-issue mo yan, ang minimum must not be not less than 5 pesos per share. At kapag in-issue mo, it is deemed fully paid and then assessable. And the holders of such share are not liable to the corporation or the creditors of the corporation. Fully paid na siya. As if part na siya, kumbaga na fully paid na. Bakit po ganun? Kasi yung mga par value shares, pwede kang mag-avail ng par value shares without paying in full. Bibilin mo lang yung par value, magsusubscribe ka lang, but you're not required to pay the full amount. Unless, required ka na mag-pay based sa contract or sa articles of incorporation or upon call of the board of directors. Pag sinabi ng board, di ba, sa corporation, pwede kang, ikaw na nakasubscribe ka na doon sa share, pero hindi mo pa nabibili. Sabi, wala akong binabayad. Pero sa pag no par value shares, hindi pwede. Kailangan, bayaran mo na in full para maging owner ka ng share. Kasi otherwise, kasi nga, kaya sinabi dito, deemed fully paid and non-assessable kasi kailangan bayaran mo na yung issue. Pag in-issue yan sa'yo, may issue value na yan, kailangan mo nang bayaran in full. Pero dun sa isa, hindi. Pwede i-subscribe ka lang, then, subscribe ka lang dun sa share, until, kung sa article sa nakalagay, kumari, babayaran mo yung kalahati niyan after 6 months or 1 year, or kung walang nakalagay na gano'n, upon call of the board of directors. Pag sinag-order sila, bayaran nyo na, kailangan natin ng investment. So, kailangan yung bayaran yung kalahati ng par value. sa mga sila-prescribe na stock, doon, babayaran na. Otherwise, ano mangyayari doon? Magiging delinquent na shares at may proceedings tayo later on doon sa delinquent na shares. Diba? If you can, kung siguro na-review naman. So, meron tayong ganun. So, ayun, saan pa tayo? 6 pa rin. Kaya ang haba. So, I mentioned earlier that there are voting rights. Voting rights can be deprived from bago tayo pumunta doon sa voting. There are certain corporations or institutions which you cannot issue a no par value share. Kailangan lagi silang par value share. Ano yung mga corporations na to? Banks, trust institution, trust companies, insurance, ano pa? Yan. So lahat ng yan naka-enumerate, kailangan par value share. Bawal sila yung no par value. So, let's go now dun sa voting. I mentioned earlier that there are classes of shares of which pwedeng i-deprive yung voting rights, these are preferred shares and redeemable shares. But there must always be a class of shares that has a full complete voting rights. But even if the voting rights are deprived from preferred and redeemable shares, these shares, holders of these shares can vote in certain instances. Ano to? ASIMID. Pinaka-enumerate. Please memorize. Actually, please memorize yung corporation. Hindi pala. Kung hindi nyo kaya memorize, hindi parang familiarize nyo man lang. So, ASIMID. Ano yung ASIMID na to? Number 1 is Amendment of Articles of Incorporation. So, preferred share na nakadeprive ng voting rights, pwede pa rin silang bumoto kapag may amendment ng Articles of Incorporation. Ano pa? Adoption and amendment of bylaws. S. Sale, lease, pledge, mortgage, or all or substantially all assets of the corporation. I. Ano yung I? Theory. Ha? Ayun. Increasing incurring or of bundled indebtedness. So yung pag nag-issue ka ng funds or utang ng corporation, ano pa? Decrease capital stock and merger or consolidation. I. Investment of corporate funds in another corporation or in another business as in accordance with the provisions of the code. Ano pa? D. Solution. So in these instances, class, even if the preferred tsaka yung redeemable, na-deprive sila ng voting rights, they can still vote dito sa pag merong ganitong botohan. ASIMID. So pagka tinanong sa exam, pwede ba makaboto yung preferred share na deprive ng vote, ng right to vote, pag ganito yung botohan, pwede pa rin. Doon sa information eh. Which if you will look at it, hindi naman mahirap i-analyze or intindihin kasi these instances actually affect the overall structure of the corporation. Articles, pag in-amend, definitely medyo may changes yan. Bylaws, yung pag nangutang ka, kasi it will incur in debt ng utang, investment. So, ano yan talaga? Solution, definitely mawawalan yung corporation. So, pwede kayong bumoto on those matters. Ano pa ba sa 6? Yung? Bakit hindi sila pwede bumoto? Kasi they are given a different kind of preference already. Sa preferred share, they are already given priority in the assets. So if you were to give, pwede naman actually silang bumoto, pero pwede lang din sila i-deprive ng vote. Hindi naman sinabi na deprive automatic. Na pag preferred share ka, wala kang na right to vote. Pag sa articles, nakalagay, wala kang right to vote, hindi ka pwede bumoto. Nakalagay din sa certificate of stock. Usually, kung ano yung nasa articles, nakalagay din sa yung conditions na nakalagay sa articles. Sa certificate of stock. Yes, definitely. Lalo pag preferred share, mas mahal din. Kasi may preference scale sa assets. So, sa dividends, ano pa sa articles? Napapabagal ako. Article 6. Meron bang na-miss? Ano hindi ko nabanggit sa 6? Doctrine of equality of shares. Although na-mention ko na nadaanan ko na kanina, doctrine of equality of shares, if walang nabanggit about preference, about voting rights, etc., all shares are deemed to be or presumed to be equal. Kung ano yung rights ng isang share, same lang sa rights ng other shares. Same, isa lang. Walang nabanggit na preference. So, halimbawa, ang mention lang, preferred shares, yung conditions sa redeemable shares, etc. Kung sila lang yung binanggit, all other shares are considered as equal. Equal sa distribution ng assets, ng dividends, in case of dissolution, yung dividends. So, equal lahat. Voting, meron din voting. Equal lahat yun. Doctrine of equality of shares. Then, article, ano article? 7. Ano yung 7? Founder share. So, this is another kind of share. Kung kanina, meron preferred, may redeemable, meron tayong founder. Ano yung founder? Actually, pwede yung founder, pwede siya mabigyan ng additional privileges. Katulad din ng isang preferred share. Pero, ano lang yung additional na wala doon sa iba? They can have the right to be exclusively vote and be voted upon as directors for a period only of 5 years upon approval of the SEC. So, kasi parang founder kami, ibigyan nyo kami ng privilege na kami lang yung maupo for the next 5 years. Pwede naman yun. So, kaya may founder share. Ano pang share ang mayroon natin dyan? Treasury shares. Ano yung treasury shares?
Treasury shares.
These are shares that have been issued by the corporation either with par value or no par value, but subsequently acquired by the corporation. Na-purchase, nabili na pabalik. In which case, the corporation can dispose of it again, pero hindi na kailangan sundin yung par value or yung no par yung issued value niya in the first place. Ano na? Ang sino na mag-fix dito? Yung board na. Unlike dun sa other shares, pag initial issue mo, kailangan based dun sa articles of incorporation o magkano yung par value at based dun sa issued value niya, kung no par value, yun susundin. Pero pag naging treasury shares na yan, it will, pag in-issue yan ulit, hindi na yan pwede, hindi na siya, pwede na siya i-fix ng board. Hindi na kailangan yung dating value niya. Pwede po ba yun? Yes, it happens. Halimbawa, redeemable shares na din na forms part of the treasury shares na. If later on, tumaas yung value ng corporation, kahit nabili lang ng corporation yun before na maliit na halaga, parang nung in-issue yun, ang par value lang ng redeemable share ay 10 piso. Eh ngayon, malaki na yung corporation. Yung board of directors, they can fix and sell that for 1,000, as high as 1,000 per share. Kita na yun ng corporation. Kita niya yun. So, baga, ano na, yun. Ano bang shares natin dyan? Thus, the treasury shares, do treasury shares form part of the outstanding capital stock? Pag treasury shares, nasa treasury or nasa corporation pa, hindi pa na-issue. Yung ba mga treasury shares, they form part of the outstanding capital stock? In the sense na pag may botohan, pwede ba yung iboto? No, they cannot. Bakit sila excluded? Under the definition of outstanding capital stock sa section assignment natin. So, 137, tingnan nyo, nakalagay doon. Excluded yung treasury shares sa, hindi sa shares, hindi siya kasama doon sa outstanding capital stock. Ay, wala siya. Kaya sabi ko, included, may nagpasabad yung part na yun. Yung 140. Wala, no?
37.
Walang 37 to walang nagpasa. Alright, so yung mga shares, we'll discuss more on shares kapag nandun na tayo sa dividends, delinquency shares, kasi may chapter naman on shares talaga. By the way, what are our evidence of the ownership of the share?
Certificate of
We have the certificate of stock. So, magkaiba po ba yun? Yes, magkaiba. Yung certificate is an evidence. Ano talaga yung ownership mo? Yung shares represented by the certificate. Of course, sa'yo rin naman yung mismo certificate na papel. Pero yung talaga ownership mo sa corporation, yung stocks na represent no shares. Yung shares na yun. Meron po ba tayo, lagi po ba yung papel? Pwede po ba yung nasa computer lang? Yes, meron tayong mga uncertificated shares. We'll discuss more of this sa corporate, sa securities na lang siguro. Pero pwedeng uncertificated na sa parang electronic lang yung proof mo. Kasi merong issue dyan on how do you endorse or transfer shares. Kasi later on, di ba, merong ang shares kailangan endorsement kapag by delivery. Parang negro. So, merong ganong provision dito sa corporation ko. Di paano po pag uncertificated? Yung parang online lang. Ba, alam niyo yung mga PPI stocks, yung mga ganon? Or di ba parang bibili ka ng stocks tapos wala sa rin sa'yo. So, now let's go to, ano na susunod? Ayan. Corporation and organization. So, how many corporators? Not less than 5 or more than 15 as a general rule. Kasi if you will notice in special corporations, meron or non-stock, pwedeng more than 15. Or in other kinds of other classes, in later on natin i-discuss, pwede more than sila. Pero dito, kailangan not more than 15. Not less than 5. Pwede ba bata ang incorporator? Hindi. Must be of legal age, majority of which must be residents of the Philippines. Kailangan ba Filipino ang incorporator?
Residents of the Philippines.
May citizenship requirement ba ang incorporator? Sa corporation. Yan, meron ba? Corporation code. Hindi nakalagay ba? Citizenship requirement? Wala. Walang citizenship requirement. Pero ano yung requirement? They must at least subscribe or own at least one share. So, ang issue lang natin dyan, dun sa walang citizenship requirement, pero there are corporations na required ay Filipino-owned or may percentage. So, ano ba mass media? Kung mass media corporation yung incorporate mo, hindi pwedeng merong foreign kasi yung foreign, at least meron siya one share, eh di ba kailangan 100% na ang mass media. So definitely, bawal yung foreigner. Pero otherwise, pwede. Apparently pwede. Basta resident na Philippines. Ano pa? Meron pa importante dyan? Wala na. Section 11 ba yan? 11. Wala. 10 wala. 11.
Corporate term.
Corporate term, the corporate term is for a period of 50 years. But it can be extended for a period not exceeding 50 years within 5 years prior to its termination. Pero pwede mo bang i-shorten yung term ng corporation? Yes, you can shorten the term of corporation. Eh, kailan mo pwede i-shorten? Within 5 years lang prior to the expiration? Hindi, wala. Unlike pag mag-extend kayo, kailangan within 5 years, pare, 45 years na corporation. Kung mag-extend kayo, within that period, hindi kayo pwede mag-extend prior, pare, 20 years pa itatagal ng corporation, nag-extend na kayo. Pero kapag magpapaikli kayo ng term, of course, anytime, pwede kayo magpaikli ng term. So, hindi kailangan yung wala yung 5-year na requirement. Pero is there an exception to the 5-year requirement na pwede kayong mag-extend kahit hindi pa 5 years yung remaining? Yes. Justifiable reasons. For example, meron pa kayo naisip na justifiable reason na mag-extend yung corporation, wala pang 5 years, parang 10 years pa, ano buhay, pero nag-extend na for another 50 years. Justifiable reason. One example would be nag-loan si corporation sa isang bank. ang terms nung bank with the corporation is 20 years to pay. Kailangan yun ni corporation para makapagkaroon ng bagong investment. So, pwede siya magpunta kay SEC, sabihin niya, I have a justifiable reason. Ito yung loan agreement ko with the bank. Gagrant lang nila kapag extend yung payable within 20 years. Kaya kailangan, 10 years na lang ako. Kailangan ko pa mag-extend for at least 10 years. So, pwedeng i-grant yun dahil justifiable yung reason. So, that's one of the examples ng justifiable reasons. So, that's why class, have you heard yung merong condominium dito? Meron ba? Diba sabi nila, bakit mag-invest sa condominium? Kasi hanggang 50 years lang daw, wala na. Hindi totoo yun. Or I don't know kung naaral nyo na sa sales nyo, kasi di ba doon inaaral yung condominium act? Yung condominium kasi, it's a corporation. You incorporate it as a corporation. Kaya sinabi 50 years lang yung tatagal ng condominium ng corporation kasi 50 years lang yung term ng corporation na condominium corporation. After 50 years, the owners, yung mga condominium unit owners, sila rin yung members ng corporation, they can decide not to renew the life of the corporation. In which case, ano gagawin din sa building na condominium? Iibain na yun. Paghati-hatian na ng unit owners yung lupa, yung pagbebentahan, etc. Kaya sinasabi nila, hanggang 50 years lang pangit mag-invest. Pero ang totoo nun, the reason being is that ang term kasi ng isang corporation, which is a corporation, condominium corporation, is 50 years lang. Pero pwede nilang extend naman. Kung mapagbubuto at ikaw hindi na bubumoto yung majority, ayaw na. Kahit ikaw gusto mo pa, wala kang magagawa talo pa. So, yes, you can, pwede shorter than 50 years. Para lalagay nyo lang, ay 30 years lang ha. 50 years, okay lang. So, mamamatay na yung corporation at by the end of that year. Ano ba? Next term, ano susunod?
Minimum capital.
Sabi diyan, susunod na yan, wala. Wala daw. Wala namang required na minimum. Subject to the provisions of the next chapter, labo. So, next article, next section pala. So, wala. May minimum stock or capitalization, wala. Subject to the preceding chapter. Special laws in preceding chapter. Succeeding chapter. Ano yung nasa succeeding chapter? Ano yung sinabi?
25%.
At least 25% must be subscribed. Sa total stocks, 25% must be subscribed. 25% of those subscribed must be paid, provided that the paid-up capital should not be less than 5,000 pesos. So 25, 5. Ang tanong po ngayon, magkano yung minimum na capital na meron dapat yung corporation? Ilan? 5,000. Pag 5,000 yung minimum na capital ng corporation, ano siya? 100% subscribe, 100% paid up. Kasi yun na yung minimum na pwede. So, at the minimum, so hindi totoo yung sinabi ng preceding chapter na walang minimum. Kasi meron minimum. Not less than 5,000 pesos. So, at the minimum, ordinary corporations, minimum niya 5,000 pesos. Kasi in that case, fully paid, fully subscribed, fully paid yung shares. So, 25, 5,000. Yun yung ordinary class. Pag bangko, pag insurance, hundreds of millions yung mga millions yung kailangan na investment or yung capital. So, ito yung pinag-usapan lang natin dito. Yung general, yung ano lang, yung minimum na nasa batas. So, section, anong section na yun? 15 yung 4. Ay, hindi pa ba? 14 yung contents ng corporation. Ano yung contents ng articles of incorporation? For the SEC to approve a corporation, ito dapat yung contents niya. Number 1, name. Number 2, purpose. The purpose of the corporation can include primary and secondary purpose. Pero yung primary purpose mo must not contravene yung secondary purpose. Or kung non-stock corporation ka, hindi ka pwedeng maglagay ng secondary purpose na kikita parang for profit. Kasi nga, it will contravene the nature of the non-stock corporation. Number 3, place, which must be, principal office which must be within the Philippines. Next would be incorporators. Right term. Ayun na, not exceeding 50 years. Then, yan, incorporators. So, hindi nga required na incorporators ay Filipino. Except nga lang dun sa mga instances na kailangan Filipino-owned yung mga. So, ano pa? Terms. Directors which must not be.
Less than 5 and not more than 50.
That is the only provision you can find in the corporation code which tells us the number of directors required or the minimum and maximum directors. Sa pagpunta natin ng section 23, yung sa organization, wala naman nakalagay doon kung ilan yung directors dapat. Diyan, pero dyan sa contents, ng articles nakalagay, must not be less than 5 nor more than 15. Ano pa? Ay, yung stockholders. Then, yung sa stocks, yung authorized capital stock, tapos yung mga shares na, kung merong preferred, etc. Yun, naka-enumerate na yan. Then, ano pa? Wala na. Such other matters. Yung nakalagay niya. Such other matters that is not contrary to law or was made upon by the parties. Basta yun. So, pag final mo yan, ano yung kailangan na accompaniment niyan? The treasurer's affidavit.
Yes.
Stating that, or certifying that, 25% of the capital stock has been subscribed, 25% has been paid, and not less than 5,000. You paid up capital. So, ayun na. Then, section 15 na ba? Yung form. Ala, yung legal forms lang yan. 16 din natin sa bar. Ay, nagpapaligal forms pala sa bar, pero hindi mo yung nasabi. 16 amendments of a Articles of Incorporation. How do we amend the Articles of Incorporation? By a vote of how many? Two-thirds of the outstanding two-thirds of the stockholders.
Represent.
Two-thirds of the stockholders representing the outstanding capital stock. So class, mali pag sinasabi niya two-thirds na outstanding capital stock. Hindi bumoboto yung outstanding capital stock. Ang bumoboto yung shareholders holding two-thirds. Kailan ang vote is the shareholders holding two-thirds of the outstanding capital stock. So ang bumoboto hindi yung outstanding capital stock, kundi yung shareholders. So ang kailangan nyo na vote ay two-thirds ng shareholders, two-thirds ng paano ay word ng corporation code? Two-thirds ng
Stockholders
representing at least two-thirds.
yeah, stockholders representing at least two-thirds of the outstanding capital stock. So hindi two-thirds ng stockholders, hindi or two-thirds outstanding capital stock, hindi sila boboto. Ang boboto, kailangan ng boto is shareholders representing or holding two-thirds of the outstanding capital stock. Ha? Ano sabi? Ano tama ba? Stockholders or shareholders representing at least two-thirds of the outstanding capital stock. Ayun. So sila yung dapat na yun ang boto. Shareholders, stockholders representing at least two-thirds of the outstanding capital stock. Kailangan pa ba ng concurrence ng board or vote ng board of directors dyan? Kailangan pa ba? Or vote lang ng ng shareholders? Ano nakalagay? Hindi nakalagay pa.
Majority of the board.
Ha?
Majority of the board.
Majority vote ng
Board.
board. Class, please take note, pag sinabi natin majority vote of the board, iba yun sa majority vote ng board constituting a quorum. Constituting a quorum, yun yung day-to-day business. So kung meron kang 10 board of directors, ano ang majority niyan? 6. Ano majority? Yung 6 na yun, it will constitute the quorum. Yung 6 na yun, they can do business. Basta may majority vote sila, which is 4. So, warrant, merong transaction, parang yun kung i-authorize pa si A to engage in a certain transaction, 4 votes lang. May 6, constituting the quorum, majority nun, yun yung votes na kailangan for that particular transaction. But not in case of
Amendment of the
amendments. Kasi dito, anong sabi? Majority vote of the board. So, kailangan, kung 10 yan, 6 ang kailangan na boto. Kung 6 lang yung pumunta, 6 lang yung nung nagka-quorum 6, dapat yung 6 na yung bumoto. So, malinaw. Amen. Yung boto niya, ay, paano pa rin? 2/3. 5 kayo, 5 kayong shareholders, halimbawa, you equally own 20%. So, ilan yung boboto dito para ma-reach nyo yung 2/3? 3. Di ba? Ay, ilan ba? Sorry, 2/3 ba? 2/3, so ilan lang? Pag 2/3, ang hirap alam. Ano na? Ay, gawin natin 6. Bakit 6 kayo? Kung 6 kayo, ilang boto, equal kayo ng shares, ilan yun? 4. Oo. Pwede kasi class, halimbawa, 10% lang yung share mo, ako 20, sa kanya 30, sa kanya 10. Basta, kahit dalawa lang kami, kung ako may 30 ako, siya may 30, na-reach na namin yung 2/3, or ang 2/3 ay 66 pala. So, ano ba yan? Hirap pa. So, basta ma-reach yung 2/3, kahit dalawa lang kayo, o 35, parang dalawa kami, 35, lahat kayo tigpa 5, ma-reach yung 100. Kahit dalawa lang kami bumoto, satisfied na yung 2/3 vote. 2/3 na outstanding capital stock, kasi na-reach na yun. Kahit dalawa lang kami. Outstanding capital. Hindi yung bilang per head. Then, please take note that in case of amendment, this is only the only instance in the corporation code wherein there is no need for a formal vote. Pwedeng walang formal votation or voting. Pwedeng written assent lang. Sa lahat, kailangan may botohan. Paano botohan? Pupunta kayo, yung mga tao at magbobotohan. Dito, pwedeng written assent lang. Halimbawa, nakalagay niyo, di ba, written assent? Paano yung written assent? Yung board of directors, na majority, sabi, gamit natin yung articles. Ang ginawa lang nila, nagpadala lang sila ng mail sa lahat ng stockholders. Yung stockholder, nag-check, I agree, pumirma. That is already considered as a written assent. Kahit walang formal na gathering na nagbotohan, okay lang, considered yun, written assent. Pero for all other acts, kailangan merong voting votes. Sabi, kailangan magkakaroon ng gathering. Pwede rin naman voting by proxy solicitation, etc. Di-discuss naman natin later. Then, ano susunod niyan? So yung amendments, wala na, okay na tayo, yun na naman. So, grounds for the amendment. By the way, class, wala akong choice kundi I'll ask you to, sa book ni nila yun, meron to, you have to write for a particular corporate act na nasa corporation code, ano yung kailangan may boto pa yung board of directors, ilan yung boto ng board of, yung shareholders or stockholders. Wala kayong choice kundi kailangan nyo i-memorize yun. So, magde-delegate sa executive committee, may votes ba na kailangan yung stockholder, may votes ba na kailangan, mag-a-adapt ng bylaws, may votes ba yung directors, may votes ba yung stockholder, at ilan. Gagawa kayo ng table para maalala nyo. Kasi, maglalagay lang ng tanong sa bar, lang tinatanong, yung mga ganun. So, sinong boto ang kailangan? May vote ba ng board of directors, may vote ba ng stockholders, at kung meron man, ilan. So for you to be able to know, para may guide kayo, meron kayong outline, meron kayong sarili yung table. Kung wala sa book ni De Leon, alam ko meron kasing gamit ko dati. Meron siyang, hindi naman naka-outline, pero nakasabi niya, ito, pag 2/3 vote, ito yung mga to, kailangan. Pag vote, majority vote, ito. So, you have to make, kasi you have to memorize. Malilito kayo, otherwise malilito kayo. Amendment, madali lang. Kasi naka-discuss lang natin. Pag marami na yan, next meeting, napakarami na. At ano na. Ito nga, sinasabi ko, ito lang yung may written assent. All others walang written assent. So, anyway, table kung per particular corporate act na naka-enumerate sa law, sa code, ano yung vote na kailangan ng board of directors kung meron man, at ano yung vote ng stockholders representing outstanding capital stock kung meron man. Ayun lang, ganun. Para pag tinanong, okay. So, meron kasi dyan, majority ng board na constituting a quorum lang, may majority ng board. Iba pa yun, iba magkaiba. Meron din naman dyan, 2/3, meron dyan majority of the outstanding capital stock. So, pagka nagkakaroon halo-halo na, malilito na kayo. Alin dito
It will
yung...
be tables and what are the corporate acts vis-a-vis
Yung...
vote required?
Oh, vote requirement.
Sir, meron makaibahan yung 2/3 representing, 2/3 owning,
Hindi,
2/3
wala. Yun
owning
lang
or
yun.
representing.
Yun lang din yun. Holding, owning, representing. Kumbaga,
Isa lang.
sila yung... Later on, we will discuss na kahit hindi siya bumoto, pwede may proxy. Iba yung accent. Proxy solicitation, proxy votes. Then, saan tayo? Saan tayo? The grounds for the rejection of articles and the amendment. So, first, yung amendment at saka yung articles must be in accordance. Yung amendment, for example, must be in accordance with the code. So, pag nalaman ng SEC na wala namang majority vote ng board, pwede kagad i-deny. Kasi it's not in accordance with the requirements of the code. Pero meron mga grounds na specified. The first one is, ano yung first ground?
Substantially in accordance with the
Form.
Yun. So, section 15 may form. Actually, pro forma naman yan. So, pwede kayong tumingin sa SEC. So, pag hindi nyo sinunod yung form, hindi yan i-accept. So, that's substantially the required form. Ano pa? The purpose is illegal, unconstitutional, contrary to law, moral, etc. So, halimbawa nga, si A Mass Media Corporation, pero merong mga foreign ownership. Ayan, unconstitutional, hindi yan i-register ng SEC. Ba't po nakalusot ko sa router? Hindi ko rin alam. So, the third one is the treasurer's affidavit. Yung requirement ng 25%, 5,000 is false. So, wala pa lang 25%. Pwede 10% lang pa rin subscribe. Of sa paid up is 3,000 lang. Then, ano pa?
Percentage of ownership.
Ha?
Percentage of ownership.
Percentage of ownership is not in accordance sa law. Kung meron man. So, 60-40, yung at least 70-75-25, yung kung ano man, hindi compliant dun sa law, sa investment. So, usually, it's a foreign investment act. Then, in cases of sa mga banks, banking institution para sa banking, kailangan meron pang certification of favorable recommendation from the appropriate government agency. So, halimbawa, for banks, kaninong authorization? BSP. Pagka-insurance company sa insurance commission. So, ganun yung mga additional requirements. Paano po yung, di ba, treasurer's affidavit, at least paid up capital is 5,000, at least may 5,000 ka. Usually, yung SEC, pwede kang i-require ng para manager's check or proof na meron kang yung may bank account na nag-create or merong proof na meron talagang pondo galing from the stockholders or yung corporators. Yung mga ganun. Ito yung mga minimum na nasa law. Pero in practice, pag nag-incorporate kayo, daming kung ano nung requisitos hinihingi ng SEC para dyan sa corporation. Pero ito lang yung minimum na nasa law. So okay naman na yan. Pinasundin natin nasa law. Although there was a bar question before na, what are the documents that you need to present upon incorporation of a bank? Bank XXX. So, enough na na-present, sabihin nyo na yung mga treasurer's affidavit, certification from BSP, yan, okay na yun, mga ganun. Kasi yun ang talaga nasa. Then, ano pa? Section, so grounds for rejection yan, ano section yun?
17.
Ay, sila, dapat malapit. 18,
Corporate name.
corporate name. The corporate name must not be confusingly or deceptively similar to that of an existing corporation or patently, ano ba yun? Deceptive, etc. Ayun. So, we'll study that more pagdating natin sa intellectual property law. Pero as early as of this time, may nakalagay na ng provision na hindi pwede na kamuka. So, halimbawa, Jollibee tapos Jollibee ilalagay mo. Tapos yung logo mo, bubuyog din. So, hindi pwede.
Kalbi.
Kasi nga, it will be patently
Ayan, ako naman yung kalbi.
confusing without of existing corporation.
Pero, yung Magnolia, tsaka Magnolia.
Yung mga spook, marami naman yung mga spook talaga. Pero parang naya naman na yun. Pero, ngayon class, if you will incorporate a corporation, meron ng online kasi i-check mo muna kung i-allow ng SEC. So, tatay mo muna sa pare. Jollibee, tapos nag-type ka, Jollibee, white instead na EE, ay yung nilagay mo, Jollibee. So, pag tinype mo yun doon at nag-error, sabi, nope, hindi pwede yan, then, pag hindi mo talaga pwede yan, kasi kahit i-file mo sa SEC, hindi yan tatanggapin. So, meron na doon parang mga name checker kung patently confusing or deceptive to that existing or is protected by law. Nandun na. So, hindi na kayo, kasi di ba, meron dyan parang, pag napatunayan na confusing, mag-issue ng bago, yung SEC ng certificate, papalitan yung pangalan. Kung kayo yung confused. So, ano na? Ano yung susunod?
19.
Ano yung 19?
Commencement.
The corporate existence commences from the issuance of the SEC of
Certificate of
Certificate of Incorporation under its official seal. Please take note yung buo na yan. Hindi pwede nag-issue lang ng, pag wala yung seal, hindi pa yung kompleto. Kasi ibig sabihin, hindi pa complete yung act. Certificate of Incorporation under its official seal. Hindi na naman sa bar dati. Kaya pinamention ko na specifically. Under its, nakalagay, parang, hindi, no, may multiple choice pa before. Parang, nag-issue ng Certificate of Incorporation, tapos yung choice B, Certificate of Incorporation under its official seal. Best answer, yung letter B, as opposed to letter A. Under its official seal. Then next, corporate existence, mag-exist na from the issuance. Ano pa next? De facto corporations cannot be inquired into collaterally, but they can be attacked or assailed by a co-warranto proceeding instituted by the Solicitor General. Pursuant to what rule? Sa Rules of Court, Rule 66, co-warranto. 66. Rule 66 is co-warranto. So, yun ang institute na Solicitor General. Ano ba yung de facto corporation? These are corporations which may colorable authority sila. Meron silang articles of incorporation, pero for some reason may defect. Plus, pag hindi sila registered, wala silang articles of incorporation, they can never be considered as a de facto corporation. At the minimum, dapat meron silang articles of incorporation. But for some reason, may defect. May kulang na requirements na hindi sila meet, or for some reason, na-consider siya. May colorable compliance sa law, they act as a corporation, pero may defect yung corporation nila. Yung creation na yun. If you transact with a de facto corporation, you cannot attack, wari, nagkaroon ng case, edi de facto lang yan eh. At sabi ng batas, you cannot attack it collaterally, yung personality ng corporation. Sold yan lang, directly for that purpose. Iba yan sa susunod na article which is corporation by estoppel. Yung corporation by estoppel, pakibasa lang yung first part. Ay, a person who assumed to act as a corporation without having authority to do so shall be liable as what? As general partners. Para kayong nagbuo lang ng partnership, wala kayong parit. Tayo nagpanggap tayo na tayong lahat. Parang, uy, sabihin natin sa labas, buo tayo ng corporation, tapos nag-solicit tayo ng investment. We'll all be liable as a partners under the doctrine or principle of corporation by Estoppel. So, para kayong partners. So, and we cannot, and if we are sued, we cannot deny that we can raise as the defense that we lack personnel, juridical personality. We can raise the defense. See, we are stopped from claiming that we are corporation. And our liability is as a general partner, which means our liability extends to our personal properties. One who assumes, ano yung sumunod?
One
One who assumes
An obligation cannot resist performance thereof by saying that, ano lang yan corporation by Estoppel lang. So, yung mga kontrata natin, halimbawa, tayo nagbenta tayo sa labas, tayo nag-assume tayo ng corporation, nagbenta tayo sa labas, ayaw tayong bayaran, tapos sinampahan natin sila ng kaso, kasi ayaw nilang bayad. Sila ba pwede nang sabihin na, hindi, corporation by Estoppel lang kayo? Hindi. Kasi sabi ng batas, one who assumes, ano sabi? Obligation cannot resist performance thereof on the ground na corporation by Estoppel lang tayo. So, kumbaga, Estoppel not only on our part, but pati din sa katransact natin. Yun lang yung sinasabi niya. Tayo, although tayo, liability natin as general partners, pero we can raise that defense. Sa kabila, sila hindi rin nila pwedeng raise as defense na wala tayong juridical personal. Then, section 22. 22 na. Yung section 22, if a corporation does not start to commence to transact its business or construction of its work within a period of 2 years from the issuance of yung articles of certificate of incorporation, they shall be deemed as dissolved. Sabi ng words ay deemed dissolved. Diba? Pero kapag ka nag-start na ng construction of works or operation, pero nag-stop continuously for a period of 5 years, then, ano sabi? That will only be a ground for suspension or revocation of the, or revocation ba?
Yes.
Or revocation of the corporate franchise. So, pwede pa rin ma-revoke. Ground lang. Unlike doon sa una, sabi, being dissolved. But, doon sa third paragraph, may sinabi naman doon, pag may meritorious circumstances, pwede naman na pag din as determined by the SEC, okay lang. Parang sa ground, pati sa dissolve. So, pwede pa rin ang buhay. Please take note that under yung articles of incorporation, yung certificate of incorporation, it actually, sa contract between the corporation and the stockholders, the corporation, and the government. Pag nag-issue ng certificate of incorporation, may kontrata yung government tsaka yung corporation. Ang kontrata, embodied in the art yung purpose mo lang. Ito lang pwede mo engage. You have to follow the rules. Hindi ka pwede unconstitutional, etc. Yun yung parang kontrata nila in essence, yung franchise na binibigay. In the same way, yung corporation may kontrata sa stockholders nila. Ano yun? Yung magbabayad ka ng stocks na yung liabilities ko to extend sa value ng stocks. And for next week, we will be discussing 22 to 1 ng corporation. Plus, pag sinabi ko 22 to 122, we will finish it no matter what happens. Ang ulat ngayon.
Pansin nga namin, sir.
So we will finish that. Ako nga, kanina lang ako kagabi pa. Hindi ganun.
Galit nyo naman, sir.
Class, Ako nag-discuss sa tax kanina. Ako rin nag-discuss ko. Next week kayo na mag-discuss. Kasi meron kayong corporation naman, di ba? Nag-corporation code naman kayo before. Okay lang. We'll start with the directors. And pakinote, paalala nyo sa next week kung mababanggit. In relation to the directors, bakit hindi pwedeng mag-enter into a partnership ang isang corporation with another corporation? It's because of the issue on the board of directors. May issue doon. May kailangan natin i-clarify sa bago. Check ko lang mga mechanism. Sa case, ayun, may namis akong case, sorry. Dwelling Freight versus NLRC. This is in relation to corporate name. Sa Dwelling Freight versus NLRC, letter F na case. In that case, the Supreme Court held that the mere change in the name of a corporation does not change the personality of a corporation or yung entity niya. Hindi porket nagpalit ng pangalan yung corporation, meron ng bagong corporation. It's just like, parang ka nagpalit lang ng name. Ikaw pa rin yung tao na yun. Dito sa isa corporation, kahit nagpalit ng corporation, ng name yung corporation, siya pa rin yun. Changing the name of a corporation is not one of the grounds to dissolve or to create a new corporation. So, same pa rin sila. So, kahit nagpalit ka ng kung anong pangalan, yung pa rin yun. Isa pa rin isang corporation pa rin. So, for next week class, pakibasa yung case. Ang letter S yan, 18. Plus, lahat expected ko na babasahin nyo ng case. Pero yung pagtuunan nyo ng pansin dun sa letters of credit yung Transfield, Philippines, at saka yung Land Bank versus Perez. Transfield, Philippines, at Land Bank versus Perez. Dito sa corporation na unang kong binanggit, yun na lang sa RONA versus NLRC. Yung panento ko, para lang mas ma-appreciate nyo yung case kung paano nangyari. And then for next meeting, please lahat ang aralin ha, hindi ito yung sinasabi ko. Specifically study yung case na pinaka-importante, Bank of Commerce versus Radio Philippines. Letter S. Pero lahat din importante na. Sinasabi ko na specifically important kasi for the last 2 bar exam, need 2 questions coming from this case alone. Hindi pala, for the last 3 bar exam, pati pala sa akin, a question coming from this letter, from this case alone. Lagi siyang tinatanong. Different, dami yung doctrines, may ibang aspects ng case yung tinatanong. So, chances are, tanong ulit this year. Kaya ako na sinabi yung importante. Of course, wala pa tayo. Go versus Teves sa susunod pa naman. So, sa Conste, I'm sure you have already encountered that. Every year.
Discuss mo na.
Kahit Nara Nickel versus Redmond. So with that, I expect next week that you'll be the one to recite. Kayo naman, nakakapagod pala.